In 1974, a beautiful but now infamous house located at 112 Ocean Avenue in the small town of Amityville, New York, later known as the Amityville Horror House, became the center of one of the most terrifying and talked about stories in American history. The story began on November the 13th, 1974, when 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. brutally murdered 6 members of his family in their sleep. This horrific crime shook the entire nation, but the case turned even more chilling when Ronald claimed that he had committed the murders under the orders of an unseen force. Following this tragedy, the house remained vacant for nearly a year until 1975, when George and Kathy Lutz purchased it. They were excited about the prospect of starting a new life in such a large house at a surprisingly low price, unaware of the nightmare that awaited them. From the very first day, the Lutz family began experiencing strange occurrences that they could neither explain nor ignore. George, the head of the family, reported feeling an intense and unnatural cold inside the house, even when others felt normal temperatures. The house echoed with bizarre sounds, footsteps, doors opening and closing on their own, and whispering voices. The walls appeared to ooze a thick red liquid resembling blood, which would return no matter how often it was cleaned. The children claimed they were communicating with an invisible friend, and their behavior suddenly changed, worrying their parents deeply. Kathy frequently felt an unseen force touching her and complained about a mysterious foul odor that seemed to come from nowhere. George claimed to have repeatedly seen a dark, shadowy figure roaming inside the house at night, which would vanish as soon as he tried to approach it. These incidents shook the family, yet they initially tried to dismiss them. However, the situation only worsened with the time. George described one horrifying instance where Kathy's face transformed into that of an old woman for a few moments before returning to normal. Unexplained voices were often heard from the children's rooms, and doors would open and close without any visible cause. The sound of footsteps echoed through the staircase at night, spreading fear throughout the household. On one occasion, their dog exhibited unusually aggressive behavior, barking at an empty corner of the house as if sensing an unseen presence. George also mentioned that he felt as though he was under the control of a malevolent force, which began affecting his personality, making him increasingly aggressive. These escalating events overwhelmed the family to the point that, just 28 days after moving in, they decided to leave the house in the middle of the night. They were so terrified that they left all their belongings behind and fled, never to return. After their departure, the Lutz family shared their experiences with the media and authors, and their story gained widespread attention. In 1977, author Jay Anson wrote a book titled The Amityville Horror, based on their ordeal, which became an iconic piece of horror literature. The story also inspired several films, the most popular being the 1979 release, The Amityville Horror. However, the truth of this story has always been debated. Some people believe that it was a fabricated tale by the Lutz family to gain fame and money, while others are convinced that their experiences were genuine. Scientists and paranormal experts investigated the house, but their findings varied widely. Some described it as a center of unknown energy, while others dismissed it as nothing more than a fictional narrative. Despite the conflicting opinions, the Amityville Horror House remains one of the most infamous and mysterious places in the world. Today, the house is owned by new residents who have reported no unusual activities, yet it continues to attract tourists and enthusiasts of paranormal phenomena. Whether the story is true or not, the tale of the Amityville Horror House has left an indelible mark on American culture, embedding elements of fear and mystery that continue to intrigue and terrify people to this day.